How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Transport Fever 2, and welcome back to Salem. Things are going pretty well at the moment. I definitely can't complain about approaching $100 million. We were sitting quite comfortably above $100 million, but then I decided to go through Salem and just upgrade a bunch of the roads. So we have more lanes through the middle. We have more lanes from top to bottom. We have a ring road going around it now. We have some connections down here as well that could be a little bit better. I'll be honest, I don't love these connections down here, but I'm thinking we can get started today by improving that. And I think there's one very simple thing I can do to improve it. Now let's keep in mind that my headquarters is down here and it still looks, I mean, it's not as bad as it used to be. We have a fountain in the front yard now, which is great. We've also just shot up to $142 million. So this thing's, wow, good Lord. This thing is doing okay. Hopefully it's going to get a little bit better at some point. But what I want to do is I want to come in here and I want to do this. And I'm going to use the large country road to do this because I believe the speed limit's a little bit higher on this versus some of the other roads. And I'm going to come over this way as well. And then I'm just going to bring this straight over and connect it sort of here. I'm going to bring this one over and connect it sort of there. This little connection through here can be straightened out a little bit. And I just think this might not be a terrible idea. This might be a good way to get a proper little ring road going around the entirety of Salem here. Now, is this actually going to connect up the way I'm wanting it to? That might work. It sort of does. So I think we'll allow that. I don't mind it too much. It could be better, but it's fine. And then over on this side, I'm going to come down and I'm going to try and get just a nice sort of 90-degree-ish curve on this. It's obviously, it's not city skylines. It's not going to be perfect, but that I think is probably fair enough. Now, what I'm thinking we can also do here is either get rid of this connection or at least get rid of, well, that road's being used a lot, actually. I don't know. This connection just seems like it's a little busier than it should be. Maybe we just upgrade this road. Maybe this road just needs more lanes or something like that. So we'll go ahead and do this and have a few more turning lanes in there. This is still technically a country road, so maybe we change that to just a large street going straight through there. And then it sort of changes down to this type of thing. I don't love this road, to be quite honest, but I think we'll leave it for now. And that's basically going to be our ring road around Salem, which I think is good. Now, speaking of Salem, you might notice that we actually are up to 6 goods. Well, funnily enough, goods being the 6th thing that Salem is demanding. Now, goods production is interesting. We can head up this way towards Montgomery, and we have a Montgomery goods factory, which needs plastic and steel to make goods. Montgomery itself actually wants goods as well, which is, funnily enough, a good thing. Now, here's the deal. I'm thinking we could repurpose and reactivate this coal mine and this iron mine to provide steel to the Montgomery steel mill. That will obviously give us steel for the goods production. It also gives us slag, which could be shipped down for more bricks production down here. We're still not actually doing this yet, so that'd be 2 sources of slag for this one construction materials plant. But then when it comes to the plastic, right over here, we have an oil well, which is going to give us crude oil. We can then take that down here and turn it into regular oil at the refinery. We can bring that over and turn it into plastic at the chemical plant, and then bring that over to turn into goods. But you might have noticed already, we also have this guy. We have another chemical plant that takes grain and turns it into plastic, and we have a farm right up here. So we have so many, 2 specifically, sources of plastic. We also have this as well, which is plastic and wood for goods, plastic and paper. Do we have a source of wood around here? No, but we do have a source of paper down here by Alexandria. We have a forest over here as well. So we could actually get this thing going. And maybe that's what we do. Lexington also happens to want goods. So maybe Lexington can get some goods by means of grain to plastic to goods, and then logs to paper to goods. That might not be a bad idea. It might be a good idea. That's something I want to do a little bit later, though. That might even be something that ends up getting done in the next episode. I don't want to talk too much about something we're not doing today, because there's something I want to do before we get to all of that. And it's going to involve this road that we just built. I want to do some public transport. I want to get some big old trains in here is what I want to do. I want to get some trains moving from Salem to High Point, down to San Francisco, down to Garland, and over to Kansas City, which, by the way, it's doing all right. It's doing okay. It's grown a little bit. It does still need some fuel and some tools. We will get there, but I want to get some public transport going. I want to get some passenger trains going, and that's where I want to start today. So we're going to come down here. We're going to go for a 320-meter platform. Not that I think we're going to need it, to be quite honest. I really don't think we're going to go quite that far with the trains, but we're going to put it here. We have a little bus connection just around the corner, which I think does cover this thing, which is great. We might want to change it and expand it a little bit anyway, but this will be good. So we're going to do the 4 platforms in Salem because this is probably going to be a relatively central station. And then when it comes to High Points, I want to change it up a little bit. Now I'm thinking we could come in here and take out this whole chunk of road, or, and this might be a bad idea, we could take out these roads on either side, take out all these buildings in the middle and put the train station on this road where there's already a little bus stop. Now, I kind of like that idea and we do kind of have the money to do it. It's a lot of buildings that we're getting rid of, but I think it's what we're going to do. I do. It's 1.6 million to get rid of that. 650,000 to get rid of that. This guy, honestly, let's get rid of you, get rid of you. Let me get rid of you and you as well. And the reason I'm getting rid of those guys is because I want to be able to bring these roads just sort of straight out of here. So a nice road there. We'll do the same thing on this side as well. Bring you sort of straight out like that. And that lines up really nicely. Bring this guy down, get rid of the excess. Bring this guy down and get rid of the excess. And then these guys, we could bring them right back and connect them to these roads over here, which I think seems like a fantastic idea. So another thing I think I'm going to do with High Point is stick with just 2 platforms instead of the 4 that we did in Salem. I don't think we're going to need too many trains here. I'm also noticing I can't get this to line up perfectly, which is slightly annoying. So we're going to have to deal with the fact that this isn't going to be perfectly parallel to this this lower road, but that's kind of what I'm thinking there. And then very, very simply, we're going to grab some tracks. It's going to be high-speed tracks. We might actually want to bulldoze this for a second and just bring some tracks straight out of here. Now, we do have the parallel tracks mod installed. So I'm wondering if I do this, it does make it parallel. And then on this side, it probably won't because I'm just going to go over this road. So we'll go to there. We can turn off the parallel tracks. I've also not done high-speed rail in these stations. Oh, that's frustrating. That's going to be, yeah, that's going to be really annoying to deal with. I'm going to have to go in and upgrade all of the stations. Also getting rid of that building. So I have this road going perfectly through there. We'll do the same thing on this side again. And we have this one all sorted out as well. So that's going to be our station for High Point. It has a bus stop right across from it, which is fantastic. We probably will want some kind of loop going around here, but I need to go and upgrade those stations and those platforms because they're not high-speed rail, and that's really annoying. If anything, it might actually just be quicker and easier to bulldoze these and rebuild them. And so just like that, we have a train station in San Francisco as well. I figured this one probably should have 4 platforms. It's San Francisco. That just feels right. And we have some high-speed tracks connecting everything as well. I actually want to do a little bit of smoothing there because I've done that along a few sections of the track already. I need to do a little bit here as well just to make it look a little bit better. But everything flows together quite nicely. It's mostly high speed most of the way, which is fantastic. I don't know that we're necessarily going to get up to the high speeds because, well, the distances aren't all that long. So I really have no idea, but I love this part. I love this little bridge over the older track. It looks so good. I did have to raise the road up a little bit here, but I think this whole thing just looks absolutely fantastic. The only thing we need to do now, well, there's 2 things we need to do now. We need to get some signals, and I do have a mod for automatic signaling, which is absolutely fantastic because it means that I can basically go to essentially, well, let's bring the automatic signaling down to 400 meters between them. And then we'll do automatic signaling, let's say here, and we should see signals the entire way across, which is fantastic. And we'll do the same thing right about here, and we should see signals, and we do, the entire way across. We're also going to do one right about here, just before we have this crossover, so that the trains will stop. And we'll do one, let's turn off automatic signaling right about there as well. So any trains coming this way aren't going to be, you know, held back too far by the other ones. We'll do similar on this side. We'll say automatic signaling just before the road. Let that run the entire way towards San Francisco. We'll do the same thing on this side just before the crossover. And I guess we'll also do maybe just in here for the rest of the automatic signals. They don't need to be perfectly spaced out, although on this side, maybe one right there as well wouldn't hurt, so that we have a little bit more proximity to the road is what I'm looking for. And now the second thing we need to do is connect the good old train depot, the rail depot, whatever it's called. Train depot, that's the one. Need to connect that to absolutely everything. And I think the way I'm going to do that is, let's see. I could use this track here. I absolutely could use this track here. And that would probably be the cheapest way to do this. And honestly, I don't need to do it cheaply. There's absolutely no part of any of my setup right now that needs to be done cheaply, but I like this. I think that's pretty solid. That seems like a good way to do things. So we'll do that right there. And then the train can just run in. It can go down to Salem and then it can cross over and go about its business. That just seems like the way to do things. I like that a lot. I really do. So now we get to buy a train. And that's kind of the most exciting part of this entire thing. Actually, realistically, we should set up the line first. So very quickly, we'll go from San Francisco to High Point to Salem, back to High Point, and that's going to be our line. It's going to be PT for passenger train. It is going to be Salem / San Francisco, and we'll say via High Points. Kind of like how we did before with the buses. It's, I just did Height Point. It's no T right there, via High Point. So that's going to be our line. We'll go ahead and have it be, I don't know, sort of a yellowy color. Seems like a pretty solid color for the first passenger train line. And now we get to buy a train. And we have some pretty good choices thus far. We have a lot of steam locomotives. We have the Class 9000, for example, which is very powerful, but I'm thinking electric. I'm thinking we go electric in 1932 and see how things go. So I don't know if a bright yellow train is going to be a good look, but it's what we're going to go for. It's already 12.4 million. But the thing is, this thing can do what, 75 miles per hour? The passenger wagons we're using can go up to 112. We could go with the cheaper ones, but we're going to go for these guys. And I'm going to say, give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, 7 of them, 133 capacity each. That might be a bit much. That might be a bit much. What if I did another one? It goes to mediocre. I'll tell you what, we'll be right on the line. 198 meter long train, 27.7 million. We're going to buy one because we don't need two, and that's going to go in our passenger line. Ooh, missing electric tracks. A path has been found, but one or more sections of the path are not electrified. The vehicle requires electrification. What if I'm not electrified? That's the question I have right now. Is it this bit of track? No. Wait, what? Wait, what hasn't been electrified? Oh no. Oh no. What have I forgot to electrify? This bit's electrified. Have I missed this guy? It's this station, isn't it? Yeah. We're going to need to change up those tracks. Also, an interesting detail about this station, way back, I added these extra 2 cargo platforms without realizing that this is not part of the station. So actually, I'm going to disconnect this for a second. I'm going to go and configure this guy, and I'm actually going to just extend this ever so slightly, and that should resolve some of the issues with cargo being loaded slowly onto those trains. We'll also extend this, and you know what? I'm going to smooth this out a little bit just so it looks a little bit better. And I think now... Oh, did I just do parallel? I did. I think now I can go ahead and assign that train to the line. So right there, there we go. So it should be heading out. It is heading out. It looks interesting in bright yellow. Definitely, definitely a choice is what that is. That is certainly a choice. And speaking of choices, I'm going to make the choice to finally add some kind of bus loop to High Point. We're going to get people going around here, and hopefully they're going to be interested in hopping onto the trains, and hopefully that's going to do good for High Point a little bit sooner than later. So we have a stop there. We'll put a stop up here. We'll go for here. We'll go for, I'm going to say about there. and we'll create a very, very quick line just going the entire way around High Point. It's going to be skipping this station, but there's one around the corner, so that's fine. And that is going to be, what was it, RP for road passengers, and it is the High Point loop. I don't know what color we're going to go for on it. We can go for sort of a light green. It seems pretty solid. We can get ourselves some vehicles for it as well just over here, and we can get ourselves, what have we got? We still only have the Schneider. Let's go for, I'm going to say 5 of them. High Point's not all that busy. We'll make them that same light green color. And it is road passengers, High Point loop, away they go. So hopefully people want to do that. When it comes to San Francisco, I think life's going to be a little bit easier. I can just add a stop up here and then go and modify the San Francisco loop. And after stop number 3, we want to add that station. And then looking at San Francisco, are we using the older vehicles? We absolutely are. Let's get those upgraded. And you know what? Give me 3 more of them right there. So we'll get more people moving around San Francisco. And let's not forget, we already have people waiting to get on the trains as well. So hopefully this little passenger line is going to do good for us. The reason I wanted this, by the way, is because so many people are waiting for a bus between Salem and San Francisco. It's kind of ridiculous. I figured trains would make more sense, and I'm hoping that this is actually going to get people moving down towards the trains rather than trying to use the buses, especially once we connect it out to Kansas City. And speaking of Kansas City, there is a bit of demand for tools. There's a lot of demand for fuel. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. We're going to come up here to Garland because we are going to be doing some stuff with Garland anyway. And I think what we can do here is, well, we can potentially come off the back of this. We have a lot of plank production here. So is this being maxed out? Not really. This thing could level up as well. What I'm thinking is, why don't we take some of those planks, turn them into tools, and then take those over to Kansas City. It's not that much of a drive. We can change some of the roads around here to make it a bit more efficient. But we have this forest that we're not using. We have this sawmill that we're not using. So I'm tempted to connect this all together and set it as its own little production line aside from this one. Although alternatively, I could use this forest, pump some logs into there. I don't know. I don't know. My math on this isn't right because this thing keeps getting overloaded the more trucks I throw at it. So there's definitely a little something I could do there to make it better, but I think I might just do this. So it's 2 to 1. So that would just be a little back and forth. That would be super quick though. That would be such a quick little line to go back and forth right there. I almost want to use trains, as stupid as that might sound. I almost want to use trains because I could set a little station here. This is ridiculous, but if I set a little, well, how would I do it? I could say, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to get a train that can carry 600. This might be really dumb. I think planks would have to go on a flatbed. Well, no, would they? Do planks and logs go on the same type of train carriage? I really shouldn't be considering this, but I'm curious now. So planks and logs both go on a flat car. Oh no. Oh no. So I could do a little train that goes from here to here to here. Just a tiny, tiny little train, load up with 600 of those, load up with 300 of these, and then drop them off and then go back and wait. I would have it wait every time for a full load of 600 logs. Oh, I don't know if I want to do that. That seems like such a, oh, that seems so silly. It really does. That seems so silly. I mean, what would be the distance here if we did this realistically? Let me have a quick look. I'm really shouldn't be considering this. It's so dumb, but it would just be the one little thing. So it'd be from here. So basically like here to, up here to over the, oh man, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. This is so stupid, but I'm going to do it because I kind of love this idea. I really do. I'm kind of all in on this idea. So I need to get rid of this road for a second. And it's so stupid. It really, really is. So can I get myself, hold on, let me take out this section of road as well. So bring this guy just all the way back to there. I don't actually need these road connections now that I think about it. Oh, that one wasn't even going anywhere. Okay, well, we'll bring that right back to there for now. Let me get myself a little section of road. Let me upgrade you first. Let me get rid of that extra bit. And then what we'll do is bring this down, something like this. And I want to give myself just a little section of road that comes out here. And that's what I'm going to put my station on, because that's going to give me the connection to the forest. Man, this is so dumb. This is so dumb. That'll give me my forest connection though, which is great. This road over here, we're going to bring it back. And you know what? I should probably upgrade that entire road as well, because it's going to be faster if I upgrade it. Not that I think any of this needs to be faster right now, but we're going to do it anyway, because I think it's probably for the best. So is this one dirt as well? Yeah, we'll get you upgraded. We'll get you upgraded. And get you upgraded as well. There we go. So that's all upgraded. This thing down here, man, I'm about to either do something that's really, really clever or really, really stupid, and I don't know which one it is. Okay, so this little train line is, well, the line's not set up, but the tracks are set up. I've also extended my tracks down from San Francisco to here because I can use this as a connection for the depot, which should be interesting. But I think I'm also going to want to set up the rest of these lines before we get too carried away. So let's figure out where exactly wants these tools. So right about here in the middle of Kansas City, but it turns out El Paso kind of wants tools as well. So I'm almost wondering if it would be worth going to El Paso first and then driving up to Kansas City. I really should just use a train to do this as well. Oh, this might be a terrible idea. See, the thing is though, if I did use a train to bring this over, I could at least use the same lines as the passenger line that was going to cut over to Kansas City in the first place. Because I could put like a joint passenger cargo station like right here and then bridge across, go through Garland. Oh, do I want to do that? Is that what I'm, is that what I'm about to do here? I want to say that maybe is what I'm going to do here. I don't know if it's a great idea or I'm going to do it. We've got, this is going to be a lot. This is going to be a lot, but I think it's going to be good. So we'll take that out of there. Let's get this all connected together. So I have a relatively straightforward road to work with right about there. And now this is just gonna be a passenger train station. So I need a passenger station here. I need 2 tracks. Arguably I could use 3, but we're gonna go with 2. We'll go for the longer platform, swing this guy around, and I'm just gonna put it here. So right about there for the passenger station. So this line is gonna loop into Garland. And then for Kansas City, I wanna go right about here. So this is going to be another terminus station. So passenger terminus station will have the 2 platforms, and somehow I can make this work, I hope. I also don't think the platforms need to be as long as I'm making them, but I'm going to stick with the super long platforms because it's what we've gone for so far, and it will be fine. So put this guy right here. Let's go and configure this. And realistically, I maybe should have went with 4 passenger platforms, but I'm gonna take a chance here. This might be a really bad idea. I'm gonna do this. Yeah, I think we will just expand this actually, now that I think about it. This might be the better idea. So expand it this way. So that gives us another passenger platform, and then we'll do a cargo platform right here. And we can maybe put another track or another set of tracks on this side. I think we'll do another set of tracks on this side just to be sure that this is all going to work out. I don't know what those middle tracks are going to be for. This is now my biggest station, but my thinking is that if we ever bring more passenger lines in here or cargo lines, having the extra set of tracks might not be the worst thing in the world. So we'll do this. I don't know if this can be expanded or what this can be. Can I get a cargo building on there? So like a, was that small? Is that a small building? Yeah, those are the small buildings. So we'll do a small main. Actually, can we do another small passenger buildings? We'll do this, and then a main cargo building. Yeah, that looks all right. Yeah, I think that's okay. Actually, we'll smooth this out. We'll get ourselves something that doesn't look quite as terrible. We'll get a road right in front of it. We'll connect it all together, and we're going to hope for the best here. This might actually end up being a really good idea. Might end up being a really good idea. At the very least, it's going to be a great connection for Kansas, straight into Garland and so on and so forth. So let's, let me just double check. Everything is where it needs to be. Let's get these lines connected together and let's see what absolute chaos I am about to cause. Okay, so this absolute chaos is now connected, which is good and exciting and definitely going to be interesting. We have this weird little connection thing here, which I'm curious to see how that plays out. But I think what I'm going to do is set up this line here. So the train's going to go from, it's going to pick up this, it's going to pick up this, it's going to pick up this. I'm going to need some boxcars or something on this line. And that's going to load up the tools. Oh man, I don't know how this is going to work. It's going to be a long train. It is going to be a long train, but we're going to figure it out. It's going to then come into Kansas City, but it can't get out. Why can't it get out? So it can't get out because there's no way for the track to go. Okay, hold on a minute. So the track would need to go, oh man. The track would need to go this way. Essentially, we need to go from here, sort of in that kind of direction, but I'm not. Oh wait, no, I can't do that apparently. That's worrying. Can I really not do that at all? Is that just not too much slope apparently? I find that hard to believe. I do find that, yeah, difficult to believe there's too much slope there. I mean, I guess, can I go from like here? Can I do like a tiny little curve on this? Is that an option? It might be. Too much curvature. No. I might have to figure out a slightly different way to do this whole thing here. Because I need the train to come in and go that way, which is fine, but it's coming out of here. That's proving to be the problem. Unless I just do a much bigger curve, which is apparently a perfectly valid option. Oh, I don't know if I like this anymore. This idea is starting to, it's starting to get silly. Okay, so this is now doing what I wanted it to do. It does have this really annoying crossover here, but we have everything set up signal-wise, so I think it should be fine. This signal here might be a terrible idea though, so we're gonna move it and not worry too much about it. Not sure if I like that, but it's what we're gonna have to do. And as for the rest of this, I mean, realistically, we just need to manage this, and it is gonna be train cargo. It's gonna be it's gonna be Kansas, and I guess we'll just call it tools production because that's essentially what it is. And then what color do we use for Kansas? That's the question. So Kansas was bright yellow. Okay, so we use bright yellow for Kansas. I have some concerns about this, but we're going to give it a shot. Although I do need to manage that line and make sure it's doing what I need it to do. So manage line. So in Garland Central, I need you to just wait for a full load. There is no maximum stop time. That's okay. And in Garland Central, you're going to be loading up on logs. At the branch, you're going to be unloading the logs and loading up on planks. And I'm going to say wait for a full, it needs to be a full load of any, because this train's going to be set up to carry two things. So you're going to wait up to 10 minutes. You're not going to wait forever, but you're going to wait up to 10 minutes. And then down here is wait for a full load up to another 10 minutes. You are going to be unloading the planks, loading up on tools. At Kansas City, you are only going to be unloading the tools. So that should be fine. Okay. So we can carry up to 600 logs. We will then be carrying 300 tools. So up to 900 of anything on this train. I don't think the train's going to be carrying that much, but we can certainly give it a shot. Let's use the electric train again. This train might be too expensive for what I'm going to do here, but we're going to find out. So flat car with side stakes. Let me see how long this train would be if it was to have exactly what I wanted. So we need a capacity. It's already probably too long. We need a capacity of 600 on the flat cars. So that's up to there, 616 meters. Yeah, this train is going to be, yeah, there's no way we can do that. Absolutely no way we can do that. Let's do, we can't even really do 300 and 300 now that I think about it. I really didn't think about this. So if we cut that in half, that'd be 60 tools. I don't know what way to go with this. 180, that'd be 90 tools, 201 meters. I don't remember how long these platforms are. Let's bring that down to 120 and then add boxcars to bring that up to there. So 201, that in theory should be fine. So we'll buy that 20 million. Let's put you on the Kansas tools production line, and it can't find a path to the stop. Why can you not find a path to the stop? You should be able to come out of here. You should be able to go around. Oh, you can't find a path because you would want to go left there. Okay. We might want to set up something a little different with this. I guess reasonably we could just bring a line straight off of here and connect it up to that other train line. I don't love the idea of doing that. So maybe it's about time we just do another depot. And I think this right here should be fine. So I did buy that train, didn't I? Which means it's kind of stuck. Yeah. I'm just going to sell this train and that'll be fine. We'll get the money back for it. We'll come over here and we'll buy exactly the same train. So we wanted the electric locomotive. It's going to be bright yellow. The cargo is going to be flat cars with side stakes up until a capacity of 120. And then box cars to a capacity of 180. We'll buy you. We'll put you on the Kansas tools production line. And I'm curious to see what happens here. I'm curious to see if this guy starts producing anything. Currently it isn't, which is a bit worrying, but we'll find out. We'll see. This should start making things. Oh, and there we go. We've got all of the logs being loaded onto the train, which is absolutely fantastic. So it can head on and do its thing soon enough. Hopefully that ends up being a 1-to-1, because if it isn't, that's going to be a pretty major problem, but we'll see how that turns out. The good news though, is that means that the whole thing in theory is now working, which is very exciting. Now, here's what I'm thinking. We could, by all means, extend this line. How is this line doing, by the way? So you have 103 people on board, which is going to be 1.3 million. Not bad. Definitely not bad. Is it going to fill up on the way back? It looks like it absolutely nearly did. Not bad. 117 heading back. We might want to consider an extra train on that line. The stations are actually quite busy. Although I don't know if an extra train would be... I don't know if it'd be worth it right now. I guess it would probably be worth it if and when we expand this line, which I think we should do. So let's first off rename you. So it's going to be Salem to Kansas City. We'll manage the line, and San Francisco to High Point Central. We then want to go back to San Francisco on platform 2. And then we continue down into Garland. And that's going to be platform... Is that platform 2 right now? It needs to be platform 1, right? Yeah, into platform 1. And then into Kansas City, which is great. So then it heads back to Garland right here. I think that's all lined up properly. It absolutely is. So now that that's set up, we could probably afford to look at a second train. And that seems like the right call here. So we'll duplicate you. We'll get 2 trains in that line. We did actually get some new trains now that I think about it. So maybe it would be worth having a look here and seeing what we got. So if we look at locomotives, look into here, multiple units. Yeah, we got this guy. We got the Zephyr. It can carry up to 52 people. It is a really good looking train. I've seen this thing before. It's a really, really good looking train. It is up to 110 miles per hour, which would be really good. That would be faster than what we have. I'm actually kind of thinking we do this. Maybe we go to this line and we'll keep things paused while we do this. You know what? Let's go to here. Let's get 3 of these guys. Let's get them in that color there. 1, 2. No, I didn't want to add them to the one line. Not what I'm looking at all. We'll buy 3 of these for 23. You know what? We'll do 4. We'll do 4 of them. We're going to set those in Salem to Kansas City. We're going to manage the vehicles, get rid of these guys, which is a decent chunk of change back towards us. We can carry 208 people across 4 trains, which I'm completely fine with. But here's the other thing. We also, I can let the game run. We also got some new trucks. So if I go in here, I keep this pinned, we'll sort by name, I guess. We've got all these road cargo lines that are doing pretty good money. So Alexandria brick delivery, for example, managed vehicles. We're using the Benz truck with side stakes. We can replace that with something like the Opel Blitz truck, which I'm very much here for. So the Benz truck with side stakes, 25 miles per hour, capacity 8. The Blitz Tarpaulin, 37, 12. Absolutely replace those. Now, just to point out how great these things are, by the way, if we have a look at the Salem fuel delivery line, and it's just a bunch of trucks, it's currently got a rate of 53. If I replace it with the Opel Blitz tank truck, that rate goes up to 93. These things are fantastic. I just need to go down this entire line and replace all of my vehicles. It takes a minute to do this, but it's so worth it. And so with that done, we've got a bunch of fancy new trucks going around everywhere, which is fantastic news. We've also got these new trains going everywhere, and they are a fair bit faster than the other ones. This one's also full, which is potentially concerning. Also, what are you doing? You're pulling into San Francisco, I guess on the outside of the tracks, fair enough. It's just going to continue on, though, which is maybe a little bit of a worry. Don't know that I love that. Don't know that I love that, but you know what? We'll not stress it too much. I'm sure that line will make money at some point. What I am concerned about, it's this guy. So what are you up to right now? You are not really loading up on anything, huh? That's, well, no, you are. You're 20 of 24. This thing has some of the planks in storage, 22. I guess this thing can just sort of sit and chill and do whatever. It's very slowly loading up on tools, which is better than not doing it at all. It's managed to pick up a good amount of the logs over here, and we have a ridiculous amount of logs waiting over there. Also, looking at it, I probably could have made this a little bit longer, which might not have been a bad idea, but we'll leave it be for now. This thing has another 12 planks to get through. This thing is therefore not going to fill up, which I don't love, but we'll leave it be. Good Lord, there's a lot of people waiting to go to San Francisco. That's a little unexpected. How's Kansas doing in terms of people at the train station? Not very well. Not very well at all. Here's my next question. How's Kansas doing in terms of connections to... So is this going to cover... So it's this space in here that wants the tools. It's kind of being covered. I don't know. I don't know if this train station is actually going to do it. I'm going to have faith that it will, but I'm not 100% on that. Also, 52 people. Are they going to Kansas or where are they going? They are not going to Kansas. I have no idea where they're going. That's a lot of people going somewhere. It's not Kansas though. Also, what's the frequency on this line? Frequency is 5 minutes. Rate's 139. It's not terrible. It could be better though. Do I want to invest ridiculous amounts of money in this line just to... I'm going to double it. I'm going to double it is what I'm going to do. We're going to 277, frequency 137 seconds. So every 2 minutes, there should be a train. Well, just over 2 minutes. So what I'm curious about now is how much money this guy makes. 674,000 when it drops all that off. It's immediately starting to pick up some planks, which is fantastic news. I just kind of wonder how effective this is really going to be, because I get the feeling the answer is not very. To be brutally honest, it's not very effective. It really would have made more sense to use trucks for this line, but it's kind of fun, you know. It's kind of a fun line that just exists now. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but I'm kind of here for it, and so that's fine. We've got these guys, which are doing pretty well. This line is actually making a little bit of money right now, which is great news. A good amount of people on it. How many? 200 and something, 249 out of 416. So over half of the trains are full, which is exactly what we're looking for. And they're pretty regular too. I mean, they get up some good speeds too. This one's at 64 miles an hour right now. It could be going a little bit faster, but it isn't. They could be though. And that's what's important. This one, for example, how fast does this one get up to? I actually want to just pay attention to this for a second and see if they do get up above anything like 64. They get around that bend. Not really. I mean, it's still accelerating, I guess, but I think the real The real truth of the matter here is that these trains do not cover enough distance to get up above 64 miles per hour. Well, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69. Nice. All right, I'll take it. What I think I really want to see here is how much money this thing makes dropping off 25 tools. 606. This thing doesn't make a profit. I think this might have genuinely just been a terrible idea. So here's, unfortunately, what we're gonna have to do. I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna go to this line. I'm gonna manage the vehicles, and I'm just gonna sell the vehicles because there's just really no point in having this line. It just doesn't really make sense. So what I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna delete pretty much everything that we built for this line. It's not much, realistically. We really didn't build that much for it. And I know this is kind of a pain because we spent half of the episode building it, but I think this was a good experiment. We're going to get rid of all of this. And then with a few new roads in here, we can just connect this all together really, really nicely. I also forgot to reconnect this road to whatever this town's, Garland. We might want to look into that. We definitely might want to look into that. But I'll tell you what we'll do. Very quickly, let's set this up for some degree of success, I suppose. In fact, we do need to reconnect this road to Garland because that's the road we're going to be using to get out to Kansas City. We're just gonna use trucks, basically, is how we're gonna do this. We're gonna use trucks to get out to Kansas City and deliver those tools that we've been meaning to deliver for a while. So we'll bring this road right back to here. Bring this one right back as well. And what I want to do is just run this pretty much in a nice straight line down to about there. Should be solid. We'll connect these guys together, something a bit like this. So that gives us a straight shot past Garland. Realistically, I could just run this road straight down further, which I think I will actually do, so that we just bypass Garland completely. That way traffic isn't going to get worse in the city. So can I just run straight across there? No. Okay, well that's fine. We'll run out to here. We can cut this back a little bit. Take that out of there. Bring this down. We'll connect those together so we have a nice little run into the town there as well. Upgrade that road. And for this guy, I mean, maybe what we do is come off of here at as much of a 90-degree angle as I can possibly get. I don't know if that's going to work all that well, but we'll find out. This is just not going to be a thing. Can I curve it? I sort of can. That's not really what I was looking for, though. What about this? Also not really what I'm looking for. I think the problem here might just be the terrain. So if I just level it slightly, is that any better? Also, I can unpause the game while I'm doing this because it's really not the end of the world. Yeah, I don't like that. What if I just do this? Just bring that around that way. I think that's okay. I can live with that. I kind of wanted something a little bit more, I don't know, better than that, but it'll do. And that's a good connection. So that gives us from here to here to here over to Kansas City, and away we go. Let's, I suppose, upgrade some of the roads that go to Kansas City as well, but I don't mind this. And there we go. That's a much better connection down to Kansas City. We're going to be using the mega bridge that we built a little while ago. So now let's go ahead and figure out what buildings we're going to be using. So plain and simple, we are going to need a truck station here. We'll get it to be slightly longer. We don't need too many platforms, although in all honesty, might not be a terrible idea. We can let the trucks line up a little bit. Maybe it'll be better for us. I'm also going to see if I can just get this as far away as possible. So right about there, I think is pretty solid. So that's going to give us a good connection to this. That doesn't overlap with that guy, does it? No. That would be, man, you know what I'm realizing is we're going to have such a short distance between these two truck stops. It's a little bit silly, but I think it's going to be good. I think it means we'll have very, very few trucks on one of these runs, which is good. So we'll put this one right about here. That'll be our connection for this guy. And then we want to come down this way. And what I think I'll do is actually have this truck stop be on this road, just to be a little bit different with it. So it'll live right about there. And then our drop-off point is already in Kansas. So we want kind of a 2-to-1 thing here. So what we'll do is have how many trucks would I need to max this out? So from here to here, it's such a short line, but I'm kind of willing to give it a shot. And we'll kind of allow this guy to use all of those platforms. And then maybe here we should allow it to use all of them as well. Is that a good idea? I don't know. I don't know if that is a good idea. Maybe it is though. Maybe we use a different. Oh, what if we used another truck stop for the pickup? Because we could, right? We could put another truck stop in here and have that be where you pick all the stuff up from. That way they're completely separated. I mean, I could just use a single truck stop for it, but this seems like a good way to do a little bit of traffic control. So what if we try this? So that's your drop off. This one is from here. So we want to do new line from here, and it's going to go down here. And so it's going to be a similar story. Use all of the platforms, and then down here to use all of the platforms. And then we do the same thing. What if we go in and we say that I want another truck stop to be on this road? We can say maybe right about there, for example, and that's going to be another line that runs from here all the way down and into this spot in Kansas City. That seems like a good way to go. I'm kind of here for it. We'll let it use all those platforms. And you know, I don't necessarily know what to call these. I guess line 1 is going to be road cargo. It is technically in Garland. And I think we'll just have all of these be Garland lines. We'll go with that sort of golden mustardy yellow color. And I just need some vehicles for it. Although I guess a road depot probably wouldn't hurt either. So we'll get one of those. We'll throw it down in here somewhere. Is this the industrial side of town? This kind of looks like the industrial side of town. I guess that's what we'll go for. So we'll go ahead and put the, can I get the road depot between these buildings? Is that a thing that's going to let me do? I don't think it is, unfortunately. It would have been really nice if I could. I'll put it right about here, I suppose. Yes, it's going to get rid of that one building, but honestly, not the end of the world. So road depot right here. How many vehicles am I going to need? So I can only move, let's see. So I can move 9 logs there. I think we're just going to have to use the tarpaulin truck. So if I do 10 of these, that's a capacity of 120. So we'll start with 10 and we'll paint them the proper color and put those on logs to planks. And what I want to see is what is the rate of this line? 514. That's actually good because very few vehicles, yet 514, we're almost moving as much as this can produce in a year. So if I manage this and clone a vehicle, that brings us to 566. If I clone again, so we're now above it. So one of these trucks will be running a little empty every year. That's okay. I'm not worried about that. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to look at this line, planks to tools. We have no vehicles on it right now, but that's okay. We're going to get some. So we'll go in here, planks to tools. We're going to do the same thing. We'll buy one vehicle, paint it the right color, put it on planks to tools, and that gives us 24. We want this number to be 300. So if I manage this and duplicate the vehicles, that should go to 48. Duplicate again, it should go to 96. If I'm not mistaken, yep, 96. Duplicate it again, it goes to 192. Let me grab 2 of them and just duplicate until that number gets to about 300, which it is very close to being. Give me 1 more, and we're looking at 312, which is fine. So they're going to head out. So in theory, what's going to happen here is we are going to be producing 600 logs per year. We're now moving just over 600 a year. We'll be producing, currently it's going to be 200 planks. So reasonably we could bring this down because we're going to be moving way too much or trying to move way too much, but that's okay. And then down here, similar story, producing about 100, but again, we'll get there. So what we'll do is go to this guy. We will look at this line, and I'm going to get about enough vehicles to have a rate of about 100. Now this, oh, actually, now that I think about it, this might be the difficult one, getting a rate of about 100 on this guy, but we'll see. Let's go ahead and put it on the tools to Kansas City line. 67. Honestly, not bad. Manage vehicles, give me 2 more. That gives me, I'm assuming 81. Yep. 2 more should give me just over 100. 94. Give me 1 more. It should be about 100. 101. Perfect. So that should be fine, is what I'm thinking. The other thing that I'm thinking is that it might make sense to say that this line at stop number 1 is going to wait until it's full. So that way the trucks aren't going to be leaving until they're actually full. Same with here. So you guys manage line at stop number 1. You're going to wait until full. There is no maximum waiting time. Not that we should really need one. And then down here, I think we could get away with saying the same thing. So manage line, wait until you are full, no waiting time. And we'll see how that plays out. We'll see how that goes. That's a lot of trucks. It's a lot of movement, but it already looks cleaner than the train that we had before. So I'm kind of curious to see if it ends up making any money at all. Okay, so I've made one last little change to this whole thing. We now have a dedicated line taking tools into Garland because there is demand for tools in Garland. And I think the last thing I want to do today before we move to wrap things up is I want to come in here. I want to go to buildings and I want to get some buses going around Garland because that just seems like a pretty solid idea. So we'll get some people moving around all of this space as best we possibly can. We'll have some buses come down there. And I'm going to do the same with Kansas City as well, because we don't have that yet. And I feel, once again, like it kind of makes sense that we do, in fact, get a little bit of public transport going around Kansas City since we're trying to get it to grow as well. So we'll bring some buses around like this. We'll go in, we'll set up these new lines. And the hope really is that this will just help the cities to grow. Public transport is something that people tend to appreciate, so hopefully they will in this case as well. And it's road passengers. It is Kansas, and we'll call it, we'll just call it Kansas Loop, I guess. I think that's how we've been doing this, right? So if we have a look at RP down here, Salem Loop, yeah, so that's what we're looking for. So it was road passengers, Kansas Loop. We can confirm that, make it bright yellow. And we'll get ourselves some vehicles for that from this guy right here. Do we have any new? No, we still have the Schneider. That's fine. We'll go for 6 of them. That seems pretty solid. Make them bright yellow and put those on the Kansas Loop right there. And we'll do the same thing with Garland up this way. So we'll go in, we'll get ourselves a new line going, start here, going the entire way around Garland. Garland, by the way, up to, demanding 4 things, despite the fact that, we've only just started delivering the tools. We're not delivering anything else to my knowledge, so not bad on the old Garland front there. So we'll get this named, and it's just going to be Garland Loop, and I believe it is also going to be the mustardy yellow color, which is totally fine by me. We'll go in here. We'll get ourselves a few more of the Schneider buses. We'll get 6 of them as well. We'll paint them that lovely mustardy golden yellow and get those onto the road as well. So hopefully, like I said, hopefully that's going to just get people a little bit more keen. Hopefully that means that they're going to be a little bit happier about the public transport in Garland as well, which is growing, aiming for 426 people. That's not bad at all. And then looking at Kansas City, how are we doing over here? Aiming for 446, currently at 381. So that should mean that the demand for tools continues to increase, which should hopefully mean that this thing eventually starts to produce a little bit more, because it really just isn't right now. I've kind of capped this thing out and I don't remember what shipment means in this case. So I need it to level up. I just don't remember what, I think that's how many I'm like moving out, and I'm not moving all that much. So yeah, we might need to look into this. Might need to consider some things. This thing, for example, doing very well in terms of the shipment right there. So I don't know. Maybe I need to balance some numbers a little bit. I might have 136 on this might be a bit much when the shipment is there. I don't know. I really don't know. This thing's at 403. So we're doing okay. I think we're doing okay. Oh, you know what I'm realizing, or at least what I think I'm realizing? I think the shipment on Garland Sawmill is set at 100 right now because the demand from this guy is 100. It can only ever produce 100 per year with 100 planks. So if we increase the shipment on this guy, or at least get it up to above 75 and this thing levels up, then I think the number of planks will then go up as well. And I think the way this works is basically the demand. So as Kansas and Garland both want more tools, we'll then be shipping more per year. This thing kind of produces relative to the demand on the other end, if that makes sense. So there's a combined total, I guess, of like 72 tools being demanded from Garland and Kansas combined. This thing will only then make, I guess, 72. I don't know if that's exactly how it works, but that's how I'm choosing to look at it at the moment. That's how I'm looking at this. So once this gets to 75, this will start to level up, which I think will then level this guy up, and that'll be good. It means these guys won't be sitting around quite as much. And I think that also is why this thing is only shipping 400 of 600. So production can be maxed out, but the shipment is limited to 400 because this thing can only produce 200, which requires 400 logs. I hope that makes sense. It's a lot of numbers, but it's basically this thing only produces as much as this needs because this only produces as much as this needs because this is only producing as much as the cities need. It's basically a big chain. It's a big production chain. It's only making as much as it really needs to make, which is fair enough. It was at a point of leveling up though. We could say very briefly there, this thing was looking like leveling up. So there we go. There's it's getting somewhere now. I'm kind of excited to see if this works the way I think it does. All right, so looking at this, it has now leveled up, which is fantastic. Does that mean that this guy, yeah, there we go. So this is now producing a bit, wait, that's the wrong one. This guy, this guy, there we go. This guy's going to level up as well. So that's exactly what I was hoping for, which means this guy, I think, will start producing more as well. That's actually fantastic. That is, oh, that's perfect. So it does work the way I thought it did. So now that this guy has leveled up, does that mean, I mean, we're producing 224. Does that mean that you are now shipping more? Yes, it absolutely does. So now that this is shipping 600, that means that this line with a rate of 421 right now, we can go to this line with 18 vehicles and we can start looking at getting more of them to bring that number up a little bit closer to 600. So 581 should be fine. These guys really shouldn't be sitting around for long at all. You can see how quickly the trucks fill up, even though they're kind of sitting there for a little bit. It should be, so 600 should be coming in here. I don't think this thing can level up any further. I think the max is going to be 400, which is fine. And then for this, these guys should be filling up relatively quickly as well. So if we find this one here, that's for planks. That is really quick for planks there. So that's absolutely fantastic. And that means that we should start to see a bit of a surplus down here as well. So if we look at consumers, Kansas City is 61, Garland is 28. Garland's rate right now is 23. So I'm going to throw one more vehicle onto that line. And I think that is going to have to do us for today. But before we do, I want to take a very quick look at our balances. So Salem to Kansas City as a passenger train line is making 12.9 million. That is kind of wild. The Des Moines oil sand to fuel is doing 10. We've got sand brick to train doing $1 million right there. What's my biggest losses right now? Oklahoma Steel, currently a huge loss. I'm going to write that off though, because that every time it makes a delivery, basically, I mean, it does 40 something million every time. So it's fine losing 12.8 million. There we go. If I switch this over, it's now the top rated one. So yeah, it makes a profit of about $30 million. That's okay. I'm not really concerned about that. San Francisco fuel deliveries, not doing very well. Salem, San Francisco via High Point, that bus line's not doing great anymore. Norfolk brick deliveries and Garland tools delivery. So honestly, 4 of my lines aren't doing so good. The rest of them are kind of doing fantastic. Yeah, I'm not going to be upset about that. What I am slightly concerned about though, is the number of people waiting for a train here. So we might want to look into changing up this line. I have put more vehicles on it. We have like 10 vehicles on this line now, which is great, but I'm kind of thinking we might want more because it's just, I don't know. I just don't think we have enough. It's that simple. I just don't think we have enough. We might just need bigger, more frequent trains. I mean, these ones are great, but it is 52 people a pop. So either we do fewer big trains or just the same number of big trains. I don't really know. Either way, that's a problem for future me to worry about, I think, because that is 100% going to do us for today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. It has been an absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.